So I was last in Korea 2 years ago in 2013 for the Adapt Level 1 and for some workshops. And my perception of the local community and the people was based around that kind of week of experience. And I was really happy to see that the community as a whole were really appreciating the way the founders have trained and built the discipline. So they were really into kind of that original spirit training and old school style training. But it was definitely less developed than it is now. Arriving again here in 2015, I noticed a big change overall. I think just overall the progression in terms of the strength development and the technique development has just moved forward so much. And it's clear that they've got good role models here who are leading them in a very good direction on the whole. And even the coaches here are becoming more experienced in running sessions and developing things in the general community. So it's great to see the progression. 2 years is not a lot of time in parkour, but they've made a lot of progress in that time. So I think it will continue the same sort of speed, personally. There's nothing holding them back now. They've got a lot of information, a lot of good coaches, and a lot of access to great training spots, and they've got a good link with the rest of the world when it comes to communication and people visiting here and these guys coming other places. So I think 2 years from now it'll be even more developed, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. So the term "be strong to be useful" is one that's been around in parkour for a very long time now. It might mean slightly different things to different people, but I've always perceived it as there's no point in training just for yourself, having kind of a selfish motivation only. It's good to progress, it's good to feel good about your training and move forwards with it, but where parkour really shines and becomes more truly effective is when you're also training for other people as well. So the stronger you get, the more capable you are in any situation, and that might be something as simple as carrying someone's bags home when they're too heavy. But obviously it's always there for emergency situations too. It teaches you how to deal with your own body weight through space. If you had to go climb a tree to rescue a cat perhaps, then it would be very easy for you. On a more extreme scale, maybe if you're in a fire or any other sort of emergency situation, you've got a much better chance of getting out of there alive or being able to help somebody else if you're just a lot stronger person physically. But also the big development, I think, is the mental preparation that parkour gives you. Because we're constantly dealing with fear and constantly dealing with problem-solving skills. We do this every day, so it's when we're actually exposed to a real issue or an emergency situation. It's not as alien to us as parkour people as it would be to maybe the everyday person, because we're very used to dealing with that process of how fear affects us and being able to still act and move whilst we're scared. So on the whole, I think it's a nice part of the philosophy, being strong to be useful. And I think it's good to let it come into your training a lot more at times in your life, where you actually focus towards those sort of skills. So being able to carry people, lift people off the ground who are unconscious or pretending to be, carrying them for good distances, or climbing into buildings or out of buildings, and working on different skills when it comes to having to move up or down, or left or right across buildings. So general skills, they can be practiced anywhere, but if you practice those with a real urgency to your training and a real sense of purpose, then you can make a lot of progress in that. And if it actually does come to the point where you have to use those skills, then you're much better prepared. So be strong to be useful. So it's quite a common belief that parkour is a dangerous practice or a dangerous sport. But in reality, there are risks to parkour, sure, but it's much safer than a lot of other competition-based sports such as rugby or any other sort of contact sports. Number one dangerous sport in the UK is horse riding. It's probably the same anywhere in the world, with the most people have big injuries or deaths. Parkour is way down that list, at about 17th on the list. So there are risks to parkour, sure, but I wouldn't call it a dangerous sport at all. Danger implies that it's out of control and it can't be managed. I've been doing parkour now for 13 years and I've never had any serious injuries, not one. I've seen a lot of people practice in that time and never seen or heard of any really serious injuries in parkour. But it's been treated as a discipline and a sensible way to practice. So risk on the whole is a very positive thing. It helps you to grow as a person. It exposes you to manage situations where you can take small risks and learn about the benefits of that. So you can apply that to everyday life. There are risks to living. in everyday life, whether it's an investment you're about to make, or you're going to buy a new car, or even crossing the street. There's a risk there. So learning how to deal with those risks and teaching your children how to deal with those risks, I think is very, very important. Parkour is a perfect tool for that, because you can choose your own level of risk. You can start off with very, very small ones that demand not a lot of technique, and you can build up all the way to quite a high level where you really have to calculate the risk and distances and surfaces. And it teaches you a lot about yourself as an individual, mentally and physically, and about the environment and the city or forest that we live in. So on the whole, I think risk is a very positive thing, learning how to deal with that, and parkour is the perfect tool for learning how to do this.